Shalom, shalom. First off, giving all praise to Yahweh and to his son, Yahushua. We are the Battle Axes of the Most High, coming to you with another Sabbath class. Shalom to brothers and sisters that's watching online. Shalom to brothers and sisters that's in the building. Today's class is doing the work, planting seeds. Doing the work, planting seeds. I would say it's good to reiterate these classes because we always want to bring classes to keep brothers and sisters dealing in the spirit. Like we say, we bring these classes forward to make them convict your spirit to do work in this truth and to, guess what, go over and beyond to do the work in this truth for the Most High God. So we got to understand that this work that we're doing to help raise up our nation, the 12 tribes of Israel, this is not in vain. So we want to make sure that you put your best foot forward, that you, guess what, being diligent in this work. First and foremost for your nation, and first and foremost even for yourself. You know, so we're going to touch on these things. Give me the book of Luke chapter 10 and verse 2. Tell brothers and sisters, make sure you take plenty notes. Go over these classes. Brothers and sisters online, help share this video. Help us push this truth, brothers and sisters. That's doing the work too.
The book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 2. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborer are few.
So Christ is telling, jump up to verse 1 right quick.
Verse 1. After these things, the Lord appointed other 70 also.
So it was Christ, the 12 disciples, and 70 up under the 12 disciples. Read on up.
And sent them two and two before his face into every city and place.
So he sent them out two and two into every city, into every place. To, guess what? Do the work. They was out there trying to raise back up the northern tribe, trying to, guess what, raise up some of the southern tribe that forgot their nationalities, that forgot their heritage, that forgot to keep the commandments. So they was out there doing the work, and Christ was sending them out to labor as such. Read on up.
Whither he himself would come.
Read on.
Therefore said he unto them, the harvest is truly great.
The harvest is truly great, meaning it's much work to do, because that's what the harvest is going into. When the Most High God is comparing this work and this truth to, guess what, a garden. You know, in order to get fruits and reap the benefits of fruits, guess what? You have to literally be out there doing the work. You have to get your hands and knees dirty out there in the garden. That's what we're doing right now. When we out there on those blocks, guess what? We getting our hands and knees dirty, trying to wake up the 12 tribes of Israel. When sisters come in and put in work, guess what? They getting their hands and knees dirty. It's certain levels of work that all brothers and sisters need to be partaking in this truth. It's like we say, it's always something to do. Read on up.
But the laborers are few.
But the laborers are what?
But the laborers are few.
It's much work to be done out here, but you don't see too many brothers and sisters out there putting in the work. That's the thing. Christ was letting us know even from the beginning that the labor is going to be fruit. Not everybody's going to come into this truth. That's why the Most High God got what? 2/3 of our people that's not going to make it. You know? Hey, we see it. When we out there telling our people, many years we done told people that they Israelites. They know these things. And guess what? They still do not want to change. They still do not want to come and put in work. Read on up.
Pray ye therefore of the harvest.
Read that again.
Pray ye therefore of the Lord of the harvest.
So you want to pray ye therefore of the Lord of the harvest. Read on up.
That he would send forth laborers into his harvest.
And that's what brothers constantly want to throw up prayers about. Sisters want to constantly throw up prayers about. That the Most High God send us forth laborers to help push in this truth. To help do work in this truth. Like we say, going to camp multiple days a week. Guess what? You need extra brothers for these things. Guess what? Setting a building in order, we need extra sisters for these things. Setting up high holy days, we need sisters on deck. We need all brothers and sisters' hands on deck. Like we said, we want to be moving as a well-oiled machine when it comes to doing the work of the Lord. Because like we said, we know we put in work for Esau. You know, we go over and beyond for Esau. But guess what? We need to go over and beyond for the Most High God, man. This is the work that really counts. We know that brothers and sisters have jobs and so forth. But guess what? This is our first job. Brothers and sisters got to understand that this is our first job right here. Everything else comes second to the Most High God and to this truth, man. Give me Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23. Brothers got to start treating this like it's our first job. Like I said, we be on time for Esau's job. Hey, guess what? We need to be on time for the Lord. You know, brothers and sisters put in overtime for Esau. Guess what? We need to be putting in double overtime for the Lord. This is about keeping the word. You know, the Most High God is seeing these things, man. Don't think that that you doing these things in vain. Or don't think that you doing it for brothers sitting at the table. No, we just here to set up the order and the structure. But you doing it for the Most High God. You're not doing it for now one of these brothers that's in here. Read this.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 23. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith.
Read that again.
Let us hold fast the profession of our faith.
So even when we're in the world, the Most High God is telling us, let us hold fast to the profession of our faith. Guess what? We have faith that if we do the work, then guess what? We're going to be rewarded with the kingdom of heaven. A profession is what? Is your job. Something that you're skilled at. Guess what? We are the prophets of the Most High God, and our skill is learning and understanding the Bible. Even with the sisters, their skills is, guess what? Being a good example to the younger sisters, to sisters that are not out there in the truth. So these things are very, very important for brothers and sisters to, guess what? Apply to their everyday life. We bring out these classes, but a lot of times brothers and sisters don't apply. That's what brothers and sisters need to start doing, man. We got to start doing these things. Read that from the top again.
Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering.
Without what?
Without wavering.
That's some of the key words right there. Without wavering. Sometimes brothers get lackadaisy in the truth. Sometimes brothers and sisters start wavering in the truth. You got keyboard Israelites. We know that this applies to them because guess what? You don't have that extra brother, that sister to push you to, guess what? Come to class. Come to the high holy days. You're not getting that extra push when, guess what? You congregating amongst yourself. Trying to be an individual life. Like we said, a keyboard Israelite. No, get in there and mingle amongst your brothers and sisters. Because guess what? That's also what we're doing right now. We're doing a righteous rehearsal. Meaning we're learning how to properly get along with brothers and sisters according to the Bible. A lot of times we don't learn these things. We damn sure not learning these things in the world, man. So it's pivotal that we learn these things coming back into the truth, man. Read on up.
For he is faithful that promised.
And he is faithful that promised. I mean, all the promises that the Most High God has outlined in the book of Romans, guess what? These things pertain to the people that's out there doing the work. The Most High God know that slothful spirit. He know that slack spirit out there, man. And he hate that thing, man. Because guess what? It's plenty work to be done. Brothers need to always be reading. Brothers need to always be constantly going over precepts, making sure that they pronouncing the words correctly. Sisters need to always be reading. This is what helps build your spirit in this truth, man. Because like we said, when you're going through the scriptures, you're reading about our heritage. Read on up.
And let us consider one another.
Read that again,
And let us consider one another.
Being and doing the work in this truth, we have to constantly consider one another. That's something that we're not accustomed to doing as Latinos and Negroes, you know. But as being Israelites, like we bring out a class a few years ago, being an Israelite is a lifestyle. Many brothers and sisters think that the work stops once they leave Sabbath class or Wednesday class, but no, the work continues when you're at your job, when you're at the store, when you're at your household. That work is still continuing because guess what? The Most High God still has his eyes on us. He still is watching, man, making sure that guess what? You are staying in the spirit 24/7. That's what doing the work is all about, making sure that you stay in the spirit, man. Because like we say, people get complacent in the truth, man. Read, go ahead.
Let me get a precept real quick, because what I was going into is really heavy for the nation of Israel. And brothers and sisters really don't consider that thing. Like I said, the work don't stop just because brothers and sisters leave Sabbath class, or the work don't stop just because I just congregated for the new moon. The work continues all the time, man. Let's go to Exodus right quick. It's something real quick, man, what brothers and sisters should have. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 9. This right here is part of the Big Ten, man. But this is something that brothers and sisters should get understanding about, though. Freak it out.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 9. 6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work.
He said 6 days shall thou labor and to do all thy work. Wherein did he say tell us to be slack after the Sabbath class, man? Okay, the Sabbath over with, so the work stopped. It said 6 days shall we labor. Hey, scriptures say what they say. It says 6 days shall we labor. Guess what, man? Okay, when the sisters go home, guess what? On the Sabbath class, okay, you do your resting on the Sabbath. But after that, what we do? Right back to it. But we're on the Sabbath, but we all know if you're an Israelite, you know on the Sabbath day, guess what we do? We give ourselves to the Most High God. By doing the work, guess what, going out, like I said, planting those seeds in the garden for the Most High God. But the work don't stop. It's a continual cycling, man. You keep on cycle. And this is what we're supposed to do. And our mindset should always be that way.
And it goes back to that old saying with Esau, and I'm pretty sure we the one came up with the slogan, a body in motion what? Stays in motion. So once you stand in the work, doing the work, it's no way for you to get out of the spirit. A lot of times when you see brothers and sisters slacking this thing, brothers and sisters have problems dealing with their spirit, man. So these things is to help brothers and sisters stay diligent in their spirit, with ruling their spirit, man. Making sure that, guess what, that flesh is not winning. You know, that's what these things is put in place for. Brothers and sisters have to learn to utilize these things. Read Hebrews chapter 10, verse 24 again, out.
The book of Hebrews chapter 10, verse 24. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works.
Now this is the key. It said, let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. A lot of times in the world, what do? We provoke unto evil works, unto wickedness, man. You provoke the hell out of a brother, man. I know even when I was coming up, I was an agitator for my brothers and sisters, man. You know, but guess what? Now I'm trying to provoke them to come into this truth. To guess what? Keep God's law, statutes, and commandments. What precept is love? That's not 1 John 5 and 3. Brother Samuel. Say it again. All praise it. It sound too confident, man. It's 1 and 6, I think. But like Ox said, provoke unto love. Love is, guess what, the keeping of God's commandments. And we want to provoke brothers and sisters unto good works. Encourage brothers and sisters to, guess what, come to class. Brothers and sisters, where you been? You know, shoot, we was missing you. You know, hey, we here for you if you need anything, man. You know, that's what brothers and sisters need to be doing with one another, because guess what, we are a family. You know, we're trying to raise up the 12 tribes of Israel so we can get the hell up out of here. A lot of times people love captivity, but guess what? They don't know how far we done fallen from, so they complacent in captivity. When you read the scriptures, you understand that, guess what, the whole planet Earth belongs to the Israelites, man. So brothers and sisters should be ready to get the hell up out of here, man. Let's do the work. Let's get the hell home, man. Give me the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6. I have planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase.
So a lot of times, even when we thinking the notion that we brought somebody into the truth, man, we didn't bring no damn body into the truth. It's the Most High God that brings brothers and sisters into the truth, man. Brothers got that pride on them, sisters got pride. No, it's the Most High God that's clearly telling us that He gives the increase. He's the one that brings people into the truth. All we are just vessels. The Most High God may use a brother or sister to plant a seed. Like we say in the title, we plant seeds, letting them know that, guess what, you are Israelite. Guess what, we got to keep the commandments, or guess what, Deuteronomy chapter 28 is upon us. This is how we know that we Israelites. You want to constantly be planting seeds when you out and about, brothers and sisters. That's also doing the work. Sisters showing themselves in a respectable manner. Showing brothers and sisters how they carry themselves throughout the world, and not in that worldly sense, man. A lot of times brothers and sisters don't think that people are watching. People are watching, especially the church. They're always watching, man. And a lot of times, like we say, people can feel that aura about you. They can feel that it's something different, how you carrying yourself. Read on up.
So then, neither is it he that planted anything, neither he that watered it, but God that gave it the increase.
But the Most High God is the one that constantly gives us this increase. Like we say, we want brothers and sisters to constantly be praying that the Most High God send forth laborers, that we can do more in this truth, man. Like we say, this is more, always more that can be done. Going to, like we say, going to camp multiple days a week. We want to get to that level, man, to where, like we said, we pushing this truth 24/7. We already got brothers doing classes every day, man, you know, but it's always something extra that we can do. Read on up.
Now he that planted and he that watered are one.
Or what?
Or one.
No, separate.
Or one.
Meaning on one accord. Meaning if a brother come by, plant the seed, guess what? Maybe that seed that was planted months ago, a brother may hand out a flyer, may get that brother or sister to come to a congregation. That's how you plant and that's how you water that thing.
Right.
Read on up.
And every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor.
Now read that last part again,
And every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor.
But meaning what? You get what you put into this thing. We know when it talks about in the financial world, an investment. You put in a big investment because guess what? You want to get a good return on that investment. It's the same way with the Most High God. You want to put a good investment into this thing so you can get a good return on that thing. So your place can be sealed, man. That's what this work is all about. Read on up. You got something? Read on.
For we are laborers together with God.
Read that again.
For we are laborers together with God.
Like we say, when brothers is putting in bricks, guess what? Sisters should be putting in bricks. We have their own different sets of skills that each individual put in, but guess what? We are all working as one unit. That's what these classes is for, to guess what? Get brothers and sisters in that unity mentality. That's what these things is all about, because us as a nation, as being blacks and Hispanics, guess what? We have no unity amongst us. The Bible is all about putting that unity back into us. Read on up.
Ye are God's husbandry.
We are God's what?
Husbandry.
Uh-huh.
Ye are God's building.
We are God's building, because guess what? We no longer have the temple. So we are the temple of the Most High God. Read on up.
According to the grace of God, which is given unto me, as a wise master builder.
As a what?
As a wise master builder.
As a wise master builder. A lot of times brothers and sisters are not wise at building things. Like we say, we want to not lean on our own understanding and lean on the understanding that God gives us. That solidifies us not going off. When you're trying to build and do the truth your way and not the Bible's way, it's a problem there. And you see a lot of times that these things don't last but a few weeks or a few months. Guess what? You want to have longevity in this truth, man, until the end. The Bible says he that endureth unto the end shall be saved. Not just for a little while, man. Like we tell brothers and sisters, this is not a marathon. I mean, this is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Read on up.
I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon.
Read that again.
I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon.
So our forefathers before us, like we say, even with some of the One West, I know a lot of times brothers love to bash One West, but brother, that's why you got the understanding you have right now, man. Like, brother, stop that. Yes, brothers was knowing the truth. Some of the things were off, but guess what? A lot of the things were on, man. And then guess what? You build upon that, man. That's what your understanding of the scriptures, with the knowledge that the Most High God gave you, sift through the scriptures and see what was wrong and see what was right. But you can't negate that, guess what? The spirit of the Most High God wasn't on those brothers, man. Brothers need to stop, man, because that's why brothers is in the truth right now, watching YouTube videos, man. Read on up.
But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon.
But you want to take heed to some of the things that you're watching even right now. You want to make sure that these things line up with the scriptures. A lot of times brothers and sisters love to watch videos and they not lining up with the scriptures at all, man. I'm talking about not even a little bit, man. And you see that causes brothers and sisters to, guess what? Go to hell off. Go ahead,
And that's one thing, when you do watching them videos, go ahead and get your Bible out. Don't just listen to somebody say it. sometimes they don't even read the scripture right or whatever. So when you watching and be observant of what you're watching and take notes, and with that, look at the stuff that they're looking at, so you'll know the truth and what's not the truth. Go ahead.
Let me get a precept on that too. Let's go to Sirach chapter 21, verse 15. Because a lot of time when brothers and sisters read, or a lot of time brothers and sisters watching videos, and they not having their Bible out, or they watching videos, and they really don't have the understanding, and they take on some different philosophies or doctrines, that kind of throws the brothers and sisters off, man. And we got to make sure that we ground it and have a basic good. Brothers and sisters need to have a basic understanding about the scriptures, even when you're going into watching all these different videos, man. Because you can get tossed to and fro, and it's so very easy to do those things. Read it out.
The book of Sirach, chapter 21, verse 15. If a skillful man hear a wise word,
read.
He will commend it. And add unto it.
So he's saying this. So Sirach 21:5 is telling us that a skillful man, that means a person that's got knowledge of the Bible. And when he hear the word, guess what? When brother pull a precept, he like, dang man, I got a precept to go to that, man. I read this right here. Then he show him. So now he's got a precept and I got a precept. So we got better understanding of what we reading. So when a skillful man hear that, he adds something to it. Just like when you watching these videos. Do we watch videos just to get to the entertainment, or we watching videos to build?
That's right.
Read.
But as soon as one of no understanding heareth it, it displeases him.
It displeases him. So when somebody of no understanding hear these, watch these videos, oh man, them brothers going out and them brothers doing it. But guess what? You might not be skillful enough to understand what he's going into. Guess what? It might be above your pay grade. So we got to be mindful of the things that we watching, because a lot of times people think that they can take on any doctrine. Oh man, I ain't trying to hear that. Guess what? We've seen the best of the best get tossed to and fro. And they still getting tossed to and fro. Because people think they can do and watch all these videos and think they can do whatever they want to do and think it's not gonna be a judgment on it. It's a judgment that comes with every action that we do. Read.
It displeases him and casts it behind his back.
And he casts it behind his back. So guess what? When he do get the proper knowledge, guess what he do? He throw it right behind his back. So we got to be mindful of the things that we watch and that we pay attention to in this walk, man. Go ahead,
let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 11.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 11. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahushua.
So we can't lay no other foundation but the foundation that's already laid, which is Christ. A lot of times brothers and sisters want to build upon Christianity. Like it says in the book of Matthew, hey, you got to forget all that stuff you learned in the world and in Christianity. I know a lot of times brothers have a struggle trying to do that. A real struggle. When it says forget everything that you learned, it means exactly that. You have to be retaught all over again. Because guess what? If you're not forgetting the things and you're trying to bring Christianity along with being an Israelite, guess what? These things will not mix. It's like oil and water. And you're going to have different doctrines playing against you, one against another. God loves everybody, but then you read Romans 9 and 13, now you at a standstill within yourself. Guess what? You got to forget those things that you learned in Christianity, man. You can't bring these things with the true understanding of the Bible. You just can't do that. Hold your precept. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, verse 41.
Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, verse 41. For as the husbandman soweth much seed upon the ground.
Read that again,
For as the husbandman soweth much seed upon the ground, and planted many trees, and yet the thing that is sown good in his season cometh not up.
Now start from the top again,
For as the husbandman For as the husbandman soweth much seed upon the ground.
It says, for as the husbandman soweth much seed upon the ground, meaning a brother that's put in the work, getting his hands and knees dirty. Do any brother know who the husband is? Who is our husband, basically? What you got out? What precept is it? Any brother know the precepts?
I knew that was coming.
Brother Fred, what you got out?
The husband.
Yeah, who is the? We know that Christ is the husband, but where can we find that precept? What you got, Brother Barakai? What you got, Brother Steph? Give me 2 Corinthians chapter 11. We'll start at verse 1.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 1. Would to God ye bear with me a little in my folly, and indeed bear with me. For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ.
As a chaste virgin to Christ. It says, for I am jealous over you with godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ. So Christ is what? Is our husband. Guess what? We're supposed to be as a chaste virgin, meaning undefiled, untouched. When it talks about this, it's always what? In a spiritual sense. Meaning what? Not taken by the philosophies of men, especially the one with Christianity. You know, we got to kill that notion every single time, because we know a lot of our people is taken with philosophies of Christianity, or either in Islam, being a Muslim and so forth. So the scriptures is letting us know that, guess what? Christ is our husband. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra.
For as the husbandman, Shalaki. The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 8 verse 41. For as the husbandman sowed much seed upon the ground, and planted many trees.
And who are the trees? We are the trees. What precept can we find? And what you got, Isaiah? What? Be more specific.
3?
Psalms, what you say, Psalms 1 and 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
7.
Yeah, 3.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Psalms 1 and 3, where the Most High God compares us, men or the Israelites, as trees. Read 2nd Ezra 8 and 41 again.
For as the husbandman sowed much seed upon the ground, and planted many trees, and yet the thing that is sown good in his season cometh not up.
Meaning what? The fruit. Because sometimes, guess what? You bring and you out there doing the work, trying to plant the seeds for brothers and sisters, but guess what? Fruit don't always spring up. You know, it's like a catch and release a lot of times, man. It's like you going fishing. Sometimes you may catch something, but a lot of times you may not catch something. That's what the truth that putting in this work is about. Brothers got to have patience to where, guess what? If they don't catch, guess what? The Lord breathe breath into us, that guess what? We go out there and hit it again next week. That's what these things is all about. Read on up.
Neither though all that is planted take root.
So neither that all that is planted does take root. So a lot of times people, when you showing people and planting the seed, a lot of times they don't take root, meaning they're not going to put forth the actions to, guess what, do the work, to really show that they believe this. They ain't going to put their fringes on. They're not going to come to Sabbath class. They're not going to come to the high holy days. They're not going to be diligent in the truth. That's what taking root is all about. Read on out.
Even so, it is of them that are sown in the world.
And we're the ones that's sown in the world. Read on out.
They shall not all be saved.
Read that again out.
They shall not all be saved.
So the people that we deal with, guess what? They all not going to be saved, man. I know a lot of times we want everybody to come into the truth, but guess what? The Most High God knows certain spirits out here. He knows these spirits that are not going to be diligent in this truth, that could care less about the plight of our people, man. Could care less about keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Even though it's for the benefit solely of them, man, that it calls our people to prosper in everything that they do when we start to keep the commandments. But they can't see that because guess what? It ain't taking root in them. Read on, Doc.
I answered then and said, if I have found grace, let me speak.
That's what we constantly want to pray to the Most High God for. We want to pray that the Most High God constantly give us what? Grace and mercy. Read on up.
Like as the husbandman's seed perisheth, if it come not up.
If it what?
If it come not up.
Read on up.
And receive not thy rain in due season.
The rain is going into what? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. Read on up.
Or if there come too much rain and corrupt it.
Because a lot of times, brothers and sisters, you get drowned out in this truth, man. You want to go here, you want to go there, and you're not on the good foundation. Guess what? It could drown you out. It's saying it could corrupt you. Read on up.
Even so perish man also, which is formed with thy hands, and is called thine own image. Because thou art like unto him, for whose sake thou hast made all things, and liken him unto the husbandman's seed. So we are likened unto the husbandman's seed, meaning what? Christ. That's constantly what we should be esteeming to, because guess what? Christ did the work, man. He didn't play no games about his father's business, man. Give me the book of Luke, chapter 2. In verse, start up at verse 47 now. 47?
Nah, give me, start at verse 44. We'll read down a little bit. This is going into where Christ was 12 years old around Passover, and they went up to Jerusalem to celebrate. Read this out.
The book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 44. But they, supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinsfolk and acquaintances. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. So Christ wandered off. When they later found him, he was among the Pharisees and the doctors of the law. Read on up. And it came to pass that after 3 days, they found him in the temple. So you know, if he 12 years old, missing for 3 days, hey, read on up. Sitting in the midst of the doctors. Sitting in the midst of the who? Doctors. Both hearing them and asking them questions. But Christ wasn't out playing and doing whatever the hell he wanted to. He was what? Sitting in the midst of the doctors, hearing them and asking them questions. Christ is in there trying to get understanding. He in there trying to see, and guess what? Also in there putting in the work. Read on up. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answered. So even from a young age, guess what? Christ was filled with the Spirit. Read on up. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorry. And he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Wish you not that I must be about my father's business? Hey, now you know this was Christ. Because guess what? Any 12-year-old son probably got his lips smacked off saying that. But they understood that, guess what? He was about the Lord's business. Read that part again, And he answered it, and he answered unto them. And he said unto them, and he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? So Christ is saying, how is it that you sought me? Read on up. Wish ye not that I must be about my father's business? He's like, you already know what I came to do. You got the prophecies. You know that from an early age, guess what? I'm going to be about the Lord's business. That's how every brother and sister should be in this walk now. Especially now that they knowing that they're Israelite. Guess what? We should be about the Lord's business every single time, man. You got something? Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me get something on there. Go to Sirach chapter 6. Because it's going into the same thing. Sirach chapter 6. I don't want to read too much now. Sirach chapter 6 at verse 34.
The book of Sirach chapter 6 verse 34. Stand in the multitude of the elders.
Read.
And cleave unto him that is wise.
So this is the same thing what Christ was going into to do, man. He was in a multitude of elders, man, trying to cleave to the one that was wise, asking questions, man, trying to build. Read.
And cleave unto him that is wise. Be willing to hear every godly discourse.
So that's what he was trying to do, trying to hear the godly discourse. Read.
And let not the parables of understanding escape thee.
Read.
And if thou seest a man of understanding,
Read.
get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
So this is how we all supposed to be doing in this walk. Especially how this is how Christ's mindset was, man. He's like, man, I'm about my father's business, man. He was around the elders. He wanted around the doctors and the lawyers of the law. Guess what, man? I'm finna peel them back.
Right.
Y'all know something? Let me know then. I'm trying to hear. So guess what? When mother and father's out there looking for him, say, no, I'm about my father's business, man. Hey, the scripture, the scripture said this. So guess what? You can't condemn him, and this is what he doing. Read.
Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments.
Read.
He shall establish thine heart, and give these wisdoms at thy own desire.
And give thee wisdom at thy own desire, because a lot of times, brothers and sisters, we got to have this. If everybody said we got to have the mindset of Christ, this is how we're supposed to be thinking. We're supposed to be thinking of building all the time, not some of the time, not part of the time. This is something we're supposed to be meditating on, man.
That's right.
Go ahead,
Give me the book of Mark, chapter 6, verse 31, because even the disciples, they followed Christ's example. They followed his example. And guess what? We're here to follow Christ's example as well. How diligent he was in doing the work. And, you know, and that just show you the love that you have for your people. You know, brothers should want to go out there, Sabbath in, Sabbath out. Sisters should want to come in and help put in the work for the Most High God, for your nation. You know, that's what the Most High God want to see. He want to see us do it in the spirit and be in the spirit while we're doing these things. Be joyful and not just going through the motions. Mark chapter 6, verse 31.
The book of Mark, chapter 6, verse 31. And he said unto them, come ye yourselves apart into the desert place, and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so much as to eat. So
y'all see the work, how much work that the disciples in Christ was putting in. They didn't even have time to eat, really, man. Because it was constantly people needed to hear the word, needed to be healed. They barely had it in time. So you knew that they was putting in the work. If Christ said, hey, chill out for a minute, guess what? Let's get something to eat, man. These brothers out there doing the work. That's what every brother's spirit, every sister's spirit should be. And we know it takes some times to get, especially to this level. But that's the stature that brothers and sisters need to be trying to climb to. Like we say, this is the meat right here. Read that again up.
And he said unto them, come ye yourselves apart into a desert place, and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so much as to eat.
Now let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 12. Because like we said, we know a lot of times brothers and sisters may think that they doing it for us. No. Brothers and sisters are not doing it for leadership, man. Brothers and sisters should be doing this for the Most High. Like we say, we just up here to set the order, and that's it. Other than that, guess what? Brothers and sisters got to work out their own salvation with fear and trembling.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 12. Now, if any man build upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stone, wood, hay, stubble.
So the Most High God is giving us the rewards for us building upon his foundation. Like a lot of times you don't see the fruits, the reward of people's fruits when they're not building upon this. Not an everlasting fruit at that. Because like we say, we trying to get the kingdom. A lot of times people is building upon things that's going to last but for a little while. And it's going to be destroyed by nuclear thermal fire. Read on up.
Verse 13. Every man's work shall be made manifest.
Read that again out.
Every man's work shall be made manifest.
So the Most High God, he's knowing if you sincere about putting in this work, or you just going through the motions. He know if you really want to do this thing, or if you just, you know, just doing something to pass the time or whatnot. Read on up.
For the day shall declare it.
Read that again.
For the
what?
day shall declare it.
That day is what? Going into Judgment Day. Going into what? When World War III, basically. Because guess what? If you survive that day is declaring your work. Whether you gonna survive or whether you gonna be put to death. Read on up.
Because it shall be revealed by fire.
It shall be revealed by what?
By fire.
Read on up.
And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is.
And that fire is gonna try every man's work. Whether or not brother had a what? A lustful spirit on him and he didn't deal with it properly. Whether or not sister had attitudes problems and not dealing with it properly. Guess what? The Most High God knows these secret sins, man. That fire's gonna try every single one of it, man.
Man, I like how this setup is on verse 12 to how it goes into 13. It said, now if any man build upon this foundation, and it giving us substance, gold, silver, precious stone, wood, hay, stubble, every man work shall be manifest, for the day shall declare it. So if a man, so what if your works is gold? But what if your works is stubble or hay? This is how brothers need to be thinking. Guess what? And you try with fire, and you hay or stubble, think about how this thing is going. Brothers and sisters better start paying attention to how these scriptures going. Which one is your works? Is it precious stone? Because the Most High God talks about trying gold more than anything in this Bible. So which one is your works? And guess what? He talked about trying silver too. But guess what? Which one is your works? Are you stubble or are you hay? Hey, that's what brothers and sisters need to be thinking about, man.
Right. Yeah, you want to be as pure gold as you possibly can, because when you go through that fire, you don't want to be that little dot that's left over after they done put you through the fire. The only gold he had was a toenail. That's it. Yeah, I want to be gold, you know, where when you go through the fire, you ain't got much that came off of it. You don't want to go through that fire thinking, yeah, I think I'll be all right. Then come out of that mug and all you are is just a piece of lint. All you had, that's all he was. He was in the truth. That's all he was bringing.
Like you had something down there? I see you look up. Give me the book of Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 9.
The book of Proverbs chapter 18 verse 9. He also that is slothful in his work is brother to him that is a great waster.
Read that again.
He also that is slothful in his brother, Shalaka. He also that is slothful in his work is brother to him that is a great waster.
It says he also that is slothful in his work is brother to him that is a great waster. So Most High, hey, he hates those slothful spirits, man. Like I say, it's always work to be done out here. Like I say, brothers need brothers to come up here to help brothers read, to bring out classes. Guess what? These are the things that help build brothers up, man. Like brothers want to step up. Brothers think that they ready to step up to the plate. But once you see the workload that needs to be done, then brothers start to slothful off. There's always something. Like we say, brothers need to always be abstaining to do more and more and be better, man. Come on, man. That's what the Most High God has us out here for. Go ahead, Art.
And he's also saying you being a slothful man, you're brother to not the Israelites, you're brother to your other brother. Who the great waster?
For real.
Esau. That's who you the brother of. He's saying that's when you become you are of your father, the devil. That's what he's saying. Yeah, that slothful man, yeah, you might as well count yourself Esau. So when you say you banging on Esau, just take the gun and shoot yourself, because that's what you are.
Matter of fact, let's jump over and give me Proverbs 20 and verse 4. Because a lot of times we know brothers love to make excuses, sisters make excuses. Guess what? Come and do the work, man. This is the place to be, to have your spirits lifted. This is the place to be, to do the work. And this is the place that we commanded to be.
The book of Proverbs chapter 20 verse 4. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold.
Read that again.
The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold.
Even because guess what? Brothers is out there 365. Because guess what? We in there summer, spring, fall, and winter. A lot of times brothers don't understand that we out there in coats, hoodies, in the cold. Guess what? Willing to do the work, man. A lot of times brothers don't want to go out because of the cold. Man, it's too cold, man. Hey, Maccabees don't like the cold, but guess where he at? He out there. I'm pretty sure many brothers don't like the cold, but guess what? We're going to be about the Lord's business, man. That's where every brother should be. It's not going to be this type of person. Hey, guess what? It's cold outside. Nah, I ain't finna do that today, man. I'm going to wait till it warm up, man. I'm going to wait till the Most High God make it sunny out there. No. Guess what? We got to do this thing summer, spring, winter, or cold. Sometimes brothers be out there even on rainy days, man. Guess what? If the Most High God put it on our spirit, we'll be out there. Read that again, huh?
The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg in harvest.
So because he didn't put in work in his season that he was supposed to, that's why he's starving when it's time to reap for the harvest. It's the same comparison. It's our job to be out here putting in work now, so guess what? We'll be ready when the Lord come back, man. Because a lot of times brothers and sisters not gonna be ready if they not putting in work. They gonna be hungry. Read on up.
Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing.
And have what?
And have nothing.
And have nothing. Because he didn't want to do the work in this season. Let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and read verse 13 again. Huh?
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 13. Every man's work shall be made manifest.
So every brother and sister, the work that you put into this thing, guess what? It's going to be made manifest. Because the Most High God's eyes is everywhere. A lot of times we thinking we getting away with things, but no. Any brother know the precept? A precept. Because there's many precepts. 10,000 times brighter than the sun. I just gave it to you. Give me the book of Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 19.
The book of Sirach, chapter 23, verse 19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts.
So the Most High God, he's literally seeing everything. He has these angels out here, your own personal angel, reporting back to him, showing them what you did, showing them if you was diligent or not, showing if you did it with joyfulness. Read on up.
He knew all things. Ever they were created.
Ever
They were created. So also, after they were perfected, he looked upon them all.
So the Most High God is seeing these things that we're doing out here. Let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 14.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 14. If any man's work abide, which he had built thereupon, he shall receive a reward.
Read that again from the top.
If any man's work abide,
if your work abide, read on up,
which he had built thereupon, he shall receive a reward.
If you add to the things that Christ, on Christ's foundation, guess what? You're going to receive their reward. Like we say, these things is not done in vain, brothers and sisters. Read on up.
If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss. But he himself shall be saved.
But he himself shall be what?
Shall be saved.
Read on up.
Yet, so as by fire.
So as by fire. Because we know, even with the comparison, when you have a fire, let's just say, Lord forbid, brothers and sisters' home catch on fire. You know, and you're not in there. Those things can be replaced, but you yourself can't be. It's the same comparison. The Most High God is telling you, guess what? Put in this work, because the things of this word is going to be burned up, but you yourself is going to be saved out of that by the work that you did, by you keeping the commandments and staying diligent to this work. Give me Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 11. Because like we said, the Most High God constantly uses similitudes of gardens for us putting in this work. Just like a vineyard. You have to put in much work to be able to receive the fruits of that. Like I say, to break it down even into wine and so forth. You need the grapes, have to break these things down to wine, and then guess what? These things become profitable unto you. Read this.
The book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 11. Solomon had a vineyard at Baal-Hamon. He let out the vineyard unto keepers. Every one of the fruit thereof was to bring 1,000 pieces of silver.
Was to bring, so let me say, these are parables. When you read the book of Songs of Solomon, it's Solomon writing these things. Any brother know the precept to prove that? Because when we come across Christian devils or apologetics, they say that this is actually a woman. Any brother know the precept? What you got, Isaiah? Yeah, that's a good one, but it's another one. Matter of fact, read Songs of Solomon 1 and 1. That is a good one.
Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1. The Songs of Solomon, which is Solomon.
It's telling you the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. It's letting you know which is Solomon's. But here's another precept that brothers need to write down. Give me 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 32. Because they always want to come with confusion. That's why it's very important that brothers go precept upon precept.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 32. And he spake 3,000 proverbs. And his songs were 1,005.
Jump up to verse 30 out.
Verse 30. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country, and all the wisdom of Egypt. For he was wiser than all men, than Ethan, and Ezrahite, and Heman, the Chacol, and Dorde, the sons of Mohal, and his fame was in all nations round about. And he spake 3,000 proverbs.
And he spake 3,000 proverbs. The book of Proverbs, read on out, or wise sayings.
And his songs were 1,005.
And his songs were 1,005. Meaning what? He wrote 1,005 songs. Songs of Solomon is one of them.
Sirach 47:17.
All praise. That's another precept. Y'all already know I'm about to ask that bud too. So that's another precept that goes with that. Where we say that show you. Sirach chapter 47, verse 17. It's showing you that King Solomon wrote these things, but these things are written in parables. Let's go back to the Songs of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 11.
The book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 11. Solomon had a vineyard at Baal-Hamon. He let out the vineyard unto keepers.
It says Solomon had a vineyard at Baal-Hamon. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. Let's see who this vineyard is. Any brother know who the vineyard is? Give me Isaiah chapter 5, verse 7.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 7. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel.
Read that again, up.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel.
So the Most High God compares us to a vineyard. Read on up.
And the men of Judah, his pleasant plant.
And the men of Judah, his pleasant plant. Read on up.
And look for judgment. But behold, oppression.
And he was looking for us to judge the people righteously, but guess what? He saw nothing but oppression. That's why the Most High God sent Esau after us, because we ultimately started oppressing one another. When you read in 1 Kings, even when you read about wicked Ahab, how he coveted a brother's garden so bad that he took it and slaved the brother, man, because he was listening to his Hamite wife. Read on up.
But behold, oppression
Uh-huh.
for righteousness. But behold, a cry.
Now let's go back to Songs of Solomon 8 and 11.
The book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 11. Solomon had a vineyard at Baal-Hamon.
Baal-Hamon was a place where Solomon kept his garden. Read on up.
He let out the vineyard unto keep
Uh-huh.
every one for the fruit thereof was to bring 1,000 pieces of silver.
So the fruit, everyone for this fruit was, guess what, going into it being very, very valuable. So it's saying everyone for the fruit thereof was to bring 1,000 pieces. Give me the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 3 verse 20. Find out what this fruit is.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 3, verse 20.
Hold on right quick, guys. Go ahead, up.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 3, verse 20. And yet tookest thou away from them a wicked
read
heart.
that again.
And yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart, that thy law might bring forth fruit in them.
So the law is what brings forth fruit in us. The law is the fruit. Jump up to verse 19 right quick. I'll get a little bit more context.
Verse 19. And thy glory went through 4 gates of fire, and of earthquake, and of wind, and of cold. And thou mightest give the law unto the seed of Jacob.
So we know, guess what? This is another precept for the law was given only to Israel. Read on up.
In diligence unto the generation of Israel.
And that's the last part we want to focus in on. And diligence unto Israel. The Most High God gave us a spirit of diligence, but a lot of times brothers and sisters are not properly applying themselves. That's the thing. They don't want to listen to the counsel, not reading, not properly applying the scriptures. These things stop you from being diligent in this truth. And ultimately it stop you from what? Putting in the work, man. Read on up.
And yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart.
So the Most High God didn't take away a wicked heart. We're going to have to learn to, guess what? Utilize the law, statutes, and commandments. Read on up.
That thy law might bring forth fruit in them.
And that's what helped us to stop having a wicked heart. The Most High God during this time right now, brothers and sisters, we really have to earn this thing, man. We got to earn our keep into the kingdom. Because a lot of times we always say these things, when things are just given to us, we do not respect it, man. We think we owed it. We think we don't have to put in no work, and ultimately we know that we don't have to respect it. We don't respect it, man. So therefore we just squander it away like how we did in the 6 and 7 other captivities, man. Even more captivities than that, man. So the Most High God is basically making us earn our keep right now, man. You got to earn your keep. You got to put in work for this thing. Give me 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 31. This is the fruit.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, verse 31. For behold, I saw my law in you.
I sow.
I sow my law in you, and it shall bring fruit in you.
Read on.
And ye shall be honored in it forever.
It says, for behold, I sow my law in you, and it shall bring fruit in you, and ye shall be honored in it forever. So we know ultimately doing the work equates to, guess what? Putting in and keeping the commandments. Ultimately, like we say, if you're not putting in the work, 9 times out of 10, you're not keeping the commandments. Pretty sure most of the damn time. Because like we say, you got brothers that sit behind keyboards, sisters that sit behind keyboards. They breaking what? They breaking Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. They breaking Hebrews chapter 10, verse 25. They forsaken the assembling of themselves together. And that's what helps build you up. A lot of times brothers and sisters do not want to get built up in this truth, man. Let's go back.
That's what a lot of people come at you at too, and that's what the first thing they say, where's your fruit? They have no idea what the heck they talking about. Even if you show them fruit, they wouldn't know what it is anyway. That's like, what's that dragon fruit thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you look at that, you be like, what is that?
Yeah, you should.
And that's what a lot of Christians say, where's your fruit? And then you saying, well, if you're looking at him just from what you're looking at, he got on fringes, that's some fruit. It's the Sabbath, he's not working, he's not buying or selling, that's some fruit. And they're just saying, you doing the law, statutes, and commandments. So when they coming at you, where's your fruit? Then you pull them scriptures, well, I got fruit. You just can't see it. But that's what happens when you're not in the truth, or you're not following the laws. A lot of times you can't see people's fruit because you don't know the law.
Or Matthew 7:7. 7:17. People that sow good fruit can only see that good fruit, but brothers and sisters that sow that bad fruit, they can't see good fruit.
That's right.
When we bring it to them, we tell them who they are and things like that. They don't see the good fruit out of that. They don't see the good fruit out of us telling them, I guess what you're a king, brother. You're God on this planet. You're the greatest thing going.
I'll read it for you. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 16.
Yeah, you started saying.
What do you want?
Yeah, you started
16.
saying. Yeah.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, and verse 16. It says, ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles?
Either or, man. Read on.
Verse 18. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit.
That's right. We'll go to 17.
Verse 17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit.
So a good tree gonna bring forth a good tree, but if you're an evil tree, you rooted in the ways of the world, you're not gonna understand this good fruit that we bring to you. If you rooted in God's law, statutes, and commandments, sometimes we're like, what the world are they doing out there now? We understand it, but it just don't abide to us anymore. So that's the same thing. They're not gonna understand it. Good fruit can't.
And people think they're eating good until they taste good food. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's good. That tuna fish sandwich was the greatest thing I ever tasted until you taste the salmon. Then you're like, whoa, that's good. Then you realize what you've been eating was garbage. That's what they do in America. They feed us garbage and calling it good food. Raining on our head and calling it rain. I'm pissing on our head and calling it rain. Crapping on us and calling it snow. Until we see real snow, like, oh no, that ain't snow that was falling on my head. Oh shoot, what is it? Now you see it. You see what I'm saying?
Read on down, Brother Kenny, Matthew chapter 7 and verse 19.
I got it. You got it?
Yeah, I got it. The book of Matthew chapter 7 verse 19. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire.
It says, every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. So the Most High God, we know what the fruit is, brothers, is what? Is the law. So if you're not bringing forth good laws or the law, brothers and sisters, you are going to be cut down and cast into the fire. Like I said, it's a similitude for a tree, because trees are easily burned up by fire. Even going into the similitude, when we out there rebuking brothers and sisters out there, guess what? It burns their spirit up. A lot of times, if brothers not walking in the spirit, guess what? You can't see that thing. But brothers that's in the spirit, you know exactly what's going on, man. You can see the demons starting to peel off brothers and sisters out there, man. Or you can see them demons fighting within themselves, man. Or seeing them trying to get the hell away from the word, man. You see them, they go wail around the rail. Instead of walking through there, man, they walking wail around, man. Trying to get away from the word, because that's how it is. It convicts us in our spirit. And guess what? It's supposed to. Because it's supposed to get you to come and do the work. It's supposed to convict you so bad that it compels you to come in here and do the work, man. That's what it's supposed to do. Read on out.
Verse 20. Wherefore, by fruits ye shall know them.
It says, wherefore by their fruits shall ye know them. Ye shall know them. So everyone, you can see when the spirit is on brothers and sisters. You can see when you see brothers and sisters diligently keeping the commandments. You can see that, and you can see when brothers and sisters are not diligently keeping the commandments. You can see it. That's why pull brothers and sisters to the side. What's going on? You know, talk to us, man. That's what leadership is here for. Because guess what? We want to see every single one of brothers and sisters up here in the kingdom, man. I want to be in the kingdom. We want to push brothers and sisters to be more. Go ahead, Al.
And I don't know if you rock me. John, matter of fact, give us a little bit more because it's gonna tie into the husbandman and everything that I was bringing. Go John 15:1. Because that tree, all of these things is a part of Christ, man. And the thing that we must change, guess what? Like you say, before we will get hewn out of Christ, guess what? We have to change the spirit that's in us, man. Get y'all read it.
The book of John, chapter 15, verse 1. I am the true vine.
So he said he is the true vine. That is the most high choice of the trees, man. Read.
And my Father is the husbandman.
And the Father, the Most High God, is the husbandman. Read.
Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away.
So guess what? Every branch that's in Christ that don't bear fruit, the Most High God takes those branches away. Those are the branches that's hewn down, man. Read.
And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
So because every branch that's in him that bringing fruit, guess what? He tried them that they can bring forth more fruit.
Right.
So guess what? When brothers and sisters, guess what? When they building, and the Most High God seeing that you build, he said, I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna see what you gonna do on this. Okay, Paz, I can give you a little bit more.
That's right.
I can add a little bit more to you. The more things that we build upon, the more things that the Most High God put upon us, that we take cheerfully and that we build with the Most High, he give us more and more fruits, man.
And that's what we constantly trying to do, brothers and sisters. We trying to multiply this thing as much as we can. Because I just take, for instance, how we started out in Captain Jerubbaal apartment. We had class at my house once or twice. But we started out at our apartment. Then our praise to the Most High God, he started to put his spirit on us, that we gather brothers and sisters together, come together on common aims and goals, collect money, start to unify, and guess what? He allowed us to start renting the building out at the recreation center. Then guess what? The Most High God brought forth more fruits for us to able to get us what? This place that we have right now. We pray for that thing, that, you know, that we may get even a bigger building. Then guess what? Take even this building, have it in other states, have it in other cities. You know, because other brothers and sisters like our spirit, they want camp set up there. So this is always the ultimate goal on doing more and more work. We want to see our fruits multiply. We want the Most High God to continue to bless us. Go ahead.
Who plants? Who has plants? All right, when you got plants, y'all gotta look at those things. Those are spiritual things going on that's happening when it's talking about that. When you plant, a lot of times you can see your plant, they have green on it, then you see brown leaves coming off to the side. What do you do with those? Pull them off. That's what the Most High is saying he doing. If it ain't bringing forth good fruit, then why do he pull those off? And then he purges the other one. Now you feeding the other ones, so they bring forth good fruit instead of that dried up fruit, the dead fruit. And that's the same thing. So every time y'all doing something or y'all see something, it's a spiritual thing behind that. So that way, when you looking at a spiritual anything, I'm talking about anything, putting on your shoes, look at it spiritual. It's a physical thing, but look at it spiritual.
That's right.
Putting on them laws, statutes, and commandments. Start looking at stuff like that in the spirit all the time. Don't just run around, just continue doing it, wait till you get to class and then try to get spiritual. No, be in the spirit at all time. Look at, you can get a lesson out of anything that's going on.
That's right. Even in verse 2, what you threw out?
No, I want to
Yeah, go ahead. No, I just want to touch on this. Even in verse 2, like you said, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. Meaning, if you're not utilizing your talents, if you're not bearing fruit, meaning keeping the commandments, that's why you see certain brothers and sisters get pulled up out of the truth. It's the Most High God that's snatching them away, because guess what? They're not being profitable to the cause. Guess what? We out there to wake up 144,000 of the men of the elect and 1/3 of the nation of our people. Guess what? It's going to take all hands on deck, man. 144,000, that's a lot of people. And that's just of the men. It's not saying what is the 1/3. Man, that's many millions of people, man. Multitudes. That's like, man, how we just going to do this? It's going to take more than us just to do it. We're going to need all hands on deck, man. Go ahead,
That's a big con on it. Because even when brothers and sisters brothers just got camps. And it's got hundreds of thousands of people. Some brothers camps got a couple thousand, some brothers camps got 100. brother, I don't care. Your camp is not the 144,000. It's not, man. No matter how many you got, your camp is not the 144,000. But sometimes brothers get that mindset, and you'll see brothers walking in vain, and they being seen of men. Guess what? Like Most High God say, "Verily, you have your reward." Read verse 3.
Verse 3. Now ye are clean through the Shalach. Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you.
So now this is Christ saying that you are clean through the word which he has spoken unto you, because the word that he spoke is the words of the Most High God, the Father, man. Jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. If a man abide not in me.
So if a man abide not in Christ, man, read.
He is cast forth as a branch. And is withered. And men gather them. And cast them into the fire.
Read.
And they are burned.
Yeah, that's the lake of fire, man. That's what's going on. That's how you get hewn down. You see the steps in the process. How he said it's giving you steps in the process. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch. That's the first process. And is withered. That's the second process. And men gather them. That's judgment from men. You see how that process go? It's showing you how the process go. He is cast forth as a branch. That's being revealed. And is withered. Now, guess what? Now you finna get ready to face judgment. And is gathered of men. And cast them into fire. Now this is going into the lake of fire. That means the brothers are already gone, or sisters are already gone. And they are burned. That's eternal. These things are giving you steps and process how brothers get pulled from this walk, man. You got to pay attention to how the scriptures is being read, man. Go ahead,
Matter of fact, we're gonna get some more on that too. I'm glad I brought that out. Give me Matthew chapter 13, verse 38.
The book of Matthew chapter 13, verse 38. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the king.
That's the seed that we are, the Israelites. Read on up.
But the tares are the children of the wicked one.
And guess what? You got some black wicked ones out there as well. They gonna be some tares too, man. Read on up.
The enemy that sold them is the devil.
And a lot of times our people are taken by the devil of his craftiness, not going precept upon precept, not saying thus said the Lord. That's why when we out there, brothers got to learn to speak thus said the Lord. Come out the Bible. Any person that we come against and they want to talk about the Bible, you make sure you hold their butts to the fire, like Jesus' word. Come out the Bible. Come out the Bible, because they talk about it, but guess what? They ain't never gonna pull a scripture like I said with Maccabee. Well, pull Deuteronomy 28. He said it, but did he ever pull it? He didn't never pull it. Read on up.
The enemy that sold them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world.
The harvest is the end of the world. Read on.
And the reapers are the angels.
So it's gonna be angels that's gonna be reapers out here. Read on up.
As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world.
And he, just like Captain Jerubbaal was bringing out, he's giving you the parable and breaking it down even plainer than what I was breaking it down, saying the same exact thing. The end of the world is brothers and sisters being burned in that fire if they not putting in the work. Give me what you doing there? Give me Sirach chapter 27 verse 3.
The book of Sirach, chapter 27, verse 3. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown.
Read that again,
Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord.
The fear of the Lord is going into what? His commandments. Unless you hold yourself diligently to this truth, read on up.
His house shall soon be overthrown.
And your house goes into many different levels. The first one being what? Yourself. You holding yourself to, guess what, that standard that the Bible is holding ourselves to, man. Then your house is going into, guess what, your household. Then it's also going into, guess what, even the congregation. You want to be diligently seeking the Most High God. Like we say, not half-assing it. Jump down to verse, let's see. Jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. The fruit declared if the tree have been dressed.
So you know a tree by its fruit. You know an apple tree by what? What you literally seeing the apples on it. So guess what? It's the same way with Israelites. We know that we Israelites, when they see us, what? Keeping the commandments. Wearing your fringes. Brothers wearing their beards. Sisters being in order. Guess what? Brothers being diligent to coming to camp. Diligent in reading. This is how you know a tree by its fruits. When you actually can see it on them. Like I say, we letting our light shine, so that men may see our good works. You know, and it's a shot at to brothers that don't like to wear their fringes, man. You know, it's certain camps out there that teach these things, and guess what? That's not according to the Bible. Brothers have that fear spirit on them. Well, what if Esau see you? What if you have to drive? I don't give a damn. Guess what? Wear your fringes, man, because the Bible is commanding us to. The Most High God didn't give us the spirit of fear, and that's all that it is. And a lot of times, guess what? That fear spirit spreads like wildfire. Oh, man. Go ahead,
Now they gonna be talking about the one with the beard, like they did last time. Yeah. The one with the beard. We all got beards out here.
That's right.
Come on,
right.
get us then.
He like the one with the fringes. He like, shit, we all got fringes.
Come on, get us.
You know? Now, let me make, like we always say, we ain't just saying just because you wear fringes, you holier than thou. No, brothers and sisters, don't be simple. We saying that, guess what? It's a commandment, so we got to do that thing, man. It's no playing around, man. And like we say, we make the fringes look good. Well, the fringes make us look good. You know, it make your shirt stand out that much more in order for you to spark up a conversation, to plant a seed, to do the work. Brothers got to shake this fear spirit, man. Give me
Yeah, I just came to me at the store like that the other day. Just by looking at my friends, I ain't paying attention. He just say, "Hey, shalom." I turn around, and he don't got fringes. I was like, "Shalom." I ain't get into it. I'm trying to go to work, but the fact is, he should have been spotted. I expect to be able to spot him just as well as he spotted me.
That's right. That's exactly right, man. You got something good?
No, I just was saying, like I'm talking about when brothers are not wearing fringes. It's really like the brother's really trying to blend in with the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's basically what you're trying to do, man. If you want to be, because guess what, man? In the day of the Lord's sacrifice, guess what? Keep blending in.
That's right.
That's what you do. Just keep on blending in when the day of the Lord's sacrifice.
That's right.
You can be like, well, Lord, you can see the chariots going on. Well, Lord, why you ain't getting me? See, he said, no, you blended in. Keep on blending.
I didn't see you. I didn't see you.
I didn't
look like
see
the rest of them.
you. You look like the rest of them.
Yeah.
Man, that's exactly right, man. Give me the book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse. Start at verse 25.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33, verse 25. If thou set thy servants to labor, thou shalt find rest.
So with us, we know that we don't have no rest because guess what? We don't have servants. A lot of times we have to literally do these things and set things up ourselves. Like the building, like guess what? Passover, high holy days, picking out what you're going to wear. So guess what? We pray for servants, so we do not have to do nothing but worry about having a good time, man. Esau, have my clothes picked out every day for the Passover. I want this, that, and that. No, I want it made with the gold thread. Specific on that thing. Even with sisters, y'all know how they can get a different head wrap for every day of the week. Even if you want to change 3 times in one damn day, Esau, you better have that thing, man. That's liberty that, guess what? We putting in this work for. Because we have to do a lot of things. Even for brothers that's doing class. You do class, because brothers want to bring out good classes. So brothers going to do a class a week. I don't know how some brothers do. I know I talk to some of the captains. Hey, I'll take a week for mine, because it was a little bit here, a little bit there. Most High God may put something on your spirit. You may have to go into something else. But all these things, you can get no rest because guess what? You constantly working. If you're not working to provide for your families, doing work for the truth, have to constantly guide your households, we don't find no rest in this captivity, man. We don't find no rest at all. So we praying for this rest, man. We praying for the Most High God to restore us back to the kingdom, man. Read on up.
And that's one thing that's going against the United States and its government, because it's trying its best to keep our black men idle, no jobs. But what's happening is all this tragedy going on now. They're tearing up the cities. They looking for liberty now, and that's what it's saying. Because if you got your servant and he's sitting there idle, you ain't putting to work. He's sitting there plotting out
to rebel.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on. I seen the trail back then. Wasn't nobody guarding it. He looking for a place of time to get out of his servitude. And you can rest assured. I promise you, when we get these other nations in there, that's why he said with a rod of iron we got to rule.
That's right.
Every little chance you don't have, mine ain't gonna never stop working. I don't give a dang. We ride the bicycle. I need the light bulb to come on. Get on there and just turn the pedal, do something.
You know, I always got to bring this out real. My eyes, boy, he tripped me out when he said this. Somebody, he saw them thinking they gonna be slick. You know, a lot of them, they rather kill themselves than face what's the Most High God got in store for them. You let them do that. You had a spiritual ride, boop, rise back up, get your ass back out there.
Yeah.
Go on, get back out there. So we gonna have the spiritual power to raise back up if they kill themselves or not. Don't get back out there. You is not escaping this punishment, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. You can come out there and they be in the field on the tree, hanging themselves.
Don't cut yourself down.
Get them down.
Go back out there.
Put them out there. They're better take the cotton gin and throw it away. Let them do it.
Oh, they ain't having none of that. Did you want something out?
Yeah, because man, I was touching on how we in our captivity, knowing that we kind of trying to find rest, and this is what Joe was touching on too. Y'all can just do the break. I'm gonna read it out. Y'all can just write it down at the sidebar.
Man,
Joe,
we wanna read. Man, we finna go to that thing,
let's
man.
go to it. Joe chapter 7, right quick. I ain't gonna take y'all. I want to kind of easy to come back. Joe chapter 7, start at verse 1.
The book of Job, chapter 7, verse 1. Is there not an appointed time to man upon earth?
Because guess what? It's appointed time. Because it is appointed time for every man under the earth, man. Read.
Are not his days also like the days of an harlot?
So now it said, ain't your days like the days of a worker. We spend all our days basically going into work, man. Read.
As a servant earnestly desired the shadow.
So guess what? Then when he's going into as a servant earnestly desiring shadow, I mean he won't shade. He needs a place that he needs to he go chill and relax. What's what we want to do? We get out of work, we be tired. We don't want them children to say nothing. Your husband, wife don't want your husband to say nothing. Husband don't want the wife. You want to have you some peace, man, for a little while, man, before you do something else, man. We desire that thing. That's how we think, man. Read.
And as a harlot looketh for the reward of his work.
But also we want to look for the reward of our work, man. When we put our, guess like when brothers, hey, when you work that good old work week, guess what, at the end of that week, you want that paycheck, man. Guess what, you in this truth, at the end of you being at the end of this lifetime, or if Christ come back, you want the, hey, Lord, I put my work in, Lord, I hope I can get my paycheck, man. I need to get in there, man.
That's right.
I need that penny, man. That's how we should be designed for this work the same way. And you can't, if you want to have this thing set up, look at how people talking, man. For a hireling looking for shadow, yeah, you looking for rest. Because we know we in captivity. Go ahead.
Let's go back to Sirach 33 and 25.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33, verse 25. If thou set thy servants to labor, thou shalt find rest. But if thou let him go idle, he shall seek liberty.
Just like Captain Maccabee was saying, if you let your servant go idle, guess what? He's looking for a way to, guess what, break from up under that yoke to get free. Read on up.
A yoke and a collar do both a neck. About a neck. So are tortures and torments for an evil servant.
So are tortures and torments for an evil servant. Because guess what? It's going to be judgment brought upon the other nations. lot of times we want salvation, but we don't want it the way God wants it. We got to want it exactly the way the Most High God has it set up in His book, man. We want a little bit. No, I want to rule, but I don't want to rule with a rod of iron. How can you rule then? You got to let the other nations that, guess what? We are not playing any games.
And you think the other nations didn't know this? You think the other nations, this is what the other nations did to us.
That's right. Sorry.
So guess what, man? That's why he said, look, that's why it's saying, like, he said, if you put your servants to work, that's how you find rest. Because that's how they find their rest. Putting our bus to work, man. They find rest like a mug. You call your supervisor, he on the golf course.
All the time. Pass by the golf course on your day, you working. And you be like, man, where in the world do they got all this time? I don't never have time to even think of golf course. I can't walk down the street. And you talking about, because that's what they do. They put you to work while they rest. And think of how to plot to keep you in servitude.
We're going to see it, brothers and sisters. Want to flip over to Sirach chapter 42, verse 1 right quick. Yeah, Sirach 42 and 1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 42, verse 1. Of these things be not thou ashamed, and accept no person to sin thereby.
It said, of these things be not ashamed, and accept no persons to sin thereby. Jump down to verse 5. We'll see how bad brothers and sisters want it.
Verse 5. In a merchant indifferent selling of much correction of children, and to make the side of an evil servant to bleed.
Read that part again out.
In a merchant indifferent selling of much correction of children, and to make the side of an evil servant to bleed.
Y'all know I'm gonna mess around, Sister Mariah. You gonna make an evil servant bleed out? Hey, that's what the scriptures say, man. We know sisters ain't gonna be doing that. I'm just messing with sis. But to make the side of an evil servant to bleed, because guess what? They did it to us. They did it to us, man. And did not the Most High God said that we're gonna pay them back double?
All that.
Hey,
I'm gonna have the whole side of the body.
That means both sides.
say, hey, like I say, scriptures say what they say, man. Let's go back to Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 26.
We're gonna have to pass around vocab along in that Jesus' word. Everybody gonna want a piece of that.
Not me.
I'm getting the elbow through the throat.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33, verse 26. A yoke and a collar, do by the neck, bow the neck. So are tortures and torments for an evil servant.
This is the part that we want to read on up.
Send him to labor, that he be not idle.
Read that again, huh?
Send him to labor, that he be not idle.
Read on up.
For idleness teacheth much evil.
So when brothers and sisters have time, constant free time on their hand, the Bible says that it does what? It teaches much evil. Idle time is what? The devil's playground. Brothers have to understand these things. Sisters got to understand these things. That guess what? If you do have that free time, it's free time to do what? To read. Go over the scriptures. Go over precepts. Brothers know what brothers need to work on reading. Brothers know who need to work on precepts. Brothers know who need to be working on classes. Doing these things to help keep you in the spirit. Sisters know what scriptures to read. Let's say Sirach chapter 26, reading the book of Esther, reading the book of Judah, showing how our foremothers carried themselves. Brothers and sisters, if they have these leisure times, guess what? They need to be putting in work with these things, man. What's that other precept? Read on up.
Verse 27, verse 28. Set him to work as is fit for him.
It says send him to work as is fit for him. And you know, some brothers put in a lot of work. Do the things that's fit for you. You know what needs to be done, especially around the building. Like I say, you know when brothers have classes, if brothers need readers and so forth, sisters as well. Things done in the kitchen, things done around the building. All these things is the putting forth the work, because we want to have a nice building for new brothers and sisters to come to. You know, even for ourselves, because we got to understand that this is the house of the Lord. We don't want to just have our house any kind of way. You know, we know it's just a little something until, guess what, we get the kingdom. But guess what, we got to work with what we got, brothers and sisters. And it's ours. So guess what, we need to take care of these things. Read on up.
If he be not obedient, put on more heavy fetters.
Read that again, Up.
If he be not obedient, put on more heavy fetters.
It says, if he be not obedient, put on more work. That's constantly what they did to us, man, to guess what? Break our spirit. Now we're trying to rebuild our spirit by doing the work of the Lord. We ain't doing the work of Esau, man. This is solely for the Lord. Read on up. Is that all up?
Verse 29.
I'm looking for one. Give me a moment real quick. Leisure of time. Matter of fact, give me Sirach chapter 38, verse 24. While I'm looking for this precept. Because it gives us comparison, like we say, even when we finna touch on this next little spiel with brothers and sisters that actually have jobs. We see that a lot of times brothers and sisters, they worried about their job more than the work of the Lord. And we got to understand that, guess what? The Most High God is even allowing us to even make our money and provide a way that way. So guess what? We got to learn to even, guess what? Put the Most High God even over our jobs, man. We have to understand these things. Read that out.
The book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse 24.
Let me see. Hold on. What you say? Oh, that's what I wanted to. Read verse 24.
The book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse 24. The wisdom of the learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure.
Of leisure.
Of leisure.
It says the wisdom of a man cometh by opportunity of leisure. Meaning if you have any little time, guess what? You should be getting wise in the scriptures. Reading over precepts. Read as many chapters that you can understand as much as you can. Even if you have to just go over certain precepts to get you familiar with what brothers is teaching out there. You have to do what it takes to, guess what? In order for you to get a good understanding, for you to become wise. Now, it's different levels of study. Some brothers can read 10 chapters. Hey, read what you can so that you're reading with an understanding.
Fill yourself up. Fill your belly up.
That's right.
With the word. You know, everybody belly, you know, he might eat more than I do.
That's right.
Fill yourself up with it to where you got enough to carry you on.
Read verse 24 again up.
The wisdom of the learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure.
It says the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure. Read on up.
And he that had little business shall become wise.
And if you got little business, meaning you don't have a job or so forth, well, we know for brothers that's retired, that's really what it's going into, because many brothers know that, guess what? If you don't work, you what? You don't eat. So you commanded to have a job. But if you have any little time outside of your job and other things that you have to do, putting in the work for the Lord, guess what? Read in the Bible. Become wise. Go over these parables. Go over these classes that brothers is bringing out. Read on.
And if you part-time working in the world, or you ain't working right now, you should be really getting wise right now. You should be really have time to get in the scriptures, is what that's talking about. You should be getting wise with your leisure time. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Read on up.
How can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow?
It says, how can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow? The plow is a what? Is an instrument that you use to work with, to plow the field. He's asking, how can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow? Meaning, for a brother that's constantly putting in work, yes, it do be hard for you to read. But guess what? You got to make that time, man. Sisters got to make that time. We know sisters have a lot on their plate. Some sisters have to work. You have to guide the children, have to cook for your husband and so forth. But then you still have to go that extra mile to do what? Put in the work to read, man. That's you showing the Most High God that you really are serious about this thing, man. Then he blesses you to have that extra energy. You think about all the stuff that we do during the daytime, like that, where I get all the energy from? That's the Most High God, man, sending angels to give you extra spiritual energy, man, to go through the day. He know the hell that we going through, man. So we want to constantly keep praying for these things, but showing it by our work ethic. Read on up.
And that glory in the God that driveth oxen,
Uh-huh.
and is occupied in their labors, and whose talk is of the bullock.
And going into brothers that's farming. You know, you constantly talking about the bulls, the cattle, plowing the land. Read on up.
He giveth his mind to make Pharaoh. It is diligent to give the kind fodder.
Read on.
So every carpenter and workmaster that laboreth night and day, and they that cut the grave seals, and are diligent to make great variety, and give themselves to counterfeit imagery, and watch to finish a work.
So it went from a brother that's in the cattle business to a carpenter and a workmaster, meaning people that make idols and so forth and imagery. Now it's going down to the smith. Then it goes down to the potter. It's giving all these examples of brothers and sisters that's putting in work in a specific skill set. But we got to remember our first skill set is what? Teaching this word for the brothers. That's our first profession.
And then, and just like he's saying in this whole passage that he read, like I'm gonna jump back up a little bit. In verse 25, he said, "Whose talk is of bullocks?" Because when you doing a lot of work, guess what? All your talk is about work. All your and it's why it started naming these different jobs, because guess what? If you doing all these different jobs, whatever job you doing the most, that's what your talk is gonna be about. But if your talk, if most of your job is consistent of this Bible, your talk will be about the Bible. But if most of your job consists of all the rest of these jobs, guess what? Your talk is going to be about their job. That's something that brothers and sisters have to check their spirit on.
That's right. Jump down to verse 31. You want to say about? Jump down to verse 31.
Verse 31. All these trust in their hands, and everyone is wise in his work.
It says all these trust to their hands, and everyone is wise in his work, meaning they understand their skill set. Read on up.
Without these cannot a city be inhabited.
And we do need these certain skill sets for, guess what, a city to be inhabited. But we know that, guess what, Esau gonna be doing this in the kingdom. Read on up.
And they shall not dwell where they will, nor go up and down.
This is the point. Read verse 33.
33. They shall not be sought for in public counsel.
Read that again,
They shall not be sought for in public counsel.
So the people that's, guess what, all their work is in their job, they ain't gonna be sought for in public counsel. Most High God is not looking to them to, guess what, guide the congregation. Read on up.
Nor sit high in the congregation.
Nor will they sit high in the congregation. We know some brothers, hey, it's all right to esteem to be a leader in the congregation. That's what you should be reaching for. You shouldn't be having it in a vain thought, or in a, how we say, in a wicked way, but in a righteous way. Read on up.
They shall not sit on the judge's seat, nor understand the sentence of judgment. They cannot declare justice and judgment.
Meaning they're not able to go through the scriptures properly and give correction where it's needed. Read on up.
And they shall not be found where parables are spoken.
And they don't understand the parables that's in the Bible. Read this, verse 34 is the key.
Verse 34. But they will maintain the state of the world, and all their desire is in the work of their craft.
See, we got brothers and sisters that care more about their jobs than, guess what, doing the work of the Lord. Well, my job. Well, my job, this is what the Most High God gave you that job in the first place.
That's right.
We're not saying that you don't have a job, but guess what? We're telling you to put the Lord first, man, so he can even increase you in that job, man. A lot of times when you find that you come into the truth and do work in the truth, that the Most High God start to bless you in other ways, even in your job. But you have to put the Most High God's work first. Go ahead, huh?
No, go ahead. No.
Give me Haggai chapter 1, verse 5. Because we see that once you start to put your job over God's business, you find out that these things start to apply. Go to verse 4.
I got what?
Haggai chapter 1 and verse 5. Verse 4, Salaki.
The book of Haggai, chapter 1, verse 4. Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste?
So during the time they was rebuilding the temple during the Persian and Mede captivity. Haggai was a contemporary of Nehemiah, of Ezra, meaning they dwelt in the same time. And the Most High God had to put the spirit on Haggai to get our people to do his work instead of worried about their own damn business. He's like, you worried about your own houses, but what about the house of the Lord? This is what feeds us. So this is always the starting point. Read on up.
Now therefore, thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
And that's what the Most High God put forth to every brother and sister in here. Consider your ways. You know, think on these things that you're doing. Are you putting the Lord first, or are you putting your business first? Read on up.
Ye have sown much and bring in little.
Meaning you work a lot, but you're not reaping the benefits of all those hours. Read on up.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink.
Read that again out from the top.
Ye eat. It's like, huh?
Yeah, start over.
Verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Yea, ye eat, but ye have not enough.
Uh-huh.
Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink.
Read on now.
Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And ye that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
Read that last part again. And he.
Ye clothe you, but there is none warm.
Uh-huh.
And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
Any brother know what that means? We're going to take a crack at it. Go ahead, Shaya.
As much as you work, you got bills to pay. So every month, those bills gonna keep coming around, and you're just not gonna ever have enough. Like you think you're gonna save, you're not gonna be able to do that. Like,
That's right. That's right.
Car note, house note, bill note, child support, these things gonna keep coming.
That's right. And I'm going to tell you, too, even on the flip side, even when you think you're saving money, if you're not putting the Lord first, you wondering why you can't see those savings raise up. The Most High God got to cut a hole in your bag, meaning your bank account, to where the money just falling through. You're like, damn, I can't never save enough money. No, because guess what? You ain't putting the Lord first. So he making constant stuff come up. Your car, insurance, your children, your rent, water flood, damage, insurance, all these different type of things. These are the holes that the Most High God is putting into brothers and sisters' bank account when they're not putting the Lord first. Go ahead.
It never matters. I mean, if you're going out there chasing that, looking for that money all the time, because man, I done had when I had a job making minimum wage, to job making $40 an hour, $40-some an hour. It's still the same. It's still, I mean, $40-some an hour. I'm still looking for money just like I was when I was looking for when I was making minimum wage. Because I mean, the price of living gonna keep going up. The only thing you're gonna get out of your return is when you put the work in for the Most High.
That's right.
If you ain't putting it in now, I don't care. I just changed banks. I got a new bank. Yeah, they got holes in that bag too.
That's right. Read on. You got something?
Yeah, that's part of the curses.
That's right.
Matter of fact, you can precept it with Deuteronomy 28 and 38. It's saying something a little different, but it's going into the same thing. Matter of fact, I'll read it. Deuteronomy 28, verse 38.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in.
That's what we do. We go to work all these hours, but we only keep just a little. We only bring in a little. That's what happened. All this work put in, where all your money is.
I think you done made some money. You got some crumbs, because when you look at what your boss done made.
For the amount of work that he did, you see the difference. It's like he ain't do a damn thing.
He resting. He put you to work so he can rest.
Read on.
Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in. For the locust shall consume it.
For the locust shall consume it. Just like the hole in the bag shall consume your money. The locust shall consume You see, man.
Now the locust is going into, guess what, literal locusts, and it's also going into Esau as being a locust too.
Yeah.
Because they take and tax every damn thing. Like I said,
TV
what,
costs, man.
what the hell you taxing overtime for?
Yeah.
It's like you shouldn't even work overtime because they finna snatch all of that, man.
All of that.
Esau, hey, he want it all. Go ahead,
And the
huh?
more overtime you put in, boy, they know how to make that check. They said, no, you gonna make this a week. And boy, I done did it a ton of time. Like, whoa, boy, I got about 70 hours and man, on this check and 70 hours on that. Get the check, it looked like last week check. When I ain't had number 4 hours overtime. They took all that. Cause that's what they do. They gonna make sure that, man. So you gotta, it ain't about living for this world, man. That's what the brothers gonna find. The whole finalization of the whole thing is. It's not about living in this world. You ain't gonna get. I don't care how much work you put in. That's what it's good for, to eat. That's about all you can get good after from working. Eat and put a roof over your head. The rest of it is gonna. You gonna need this salvation. You gonna need these lost statutes, man. If you really gonna eat. I don't even know how some of us getting fat. We got big bellies and they ain't did nothing but work. Go ahead, Arthur.
Let's go back to Haggai chapter 1, verse 7. Like I said, we bring these classes out, like we say, to stir brothers and sisters' spirits. Like we say, we know the brothers and sisters that put in the work. You know, like we say, like, this is just to keep that spirit out there, to keep doing the work. Like we said, we got to endure until the end. Read this out.
That's also what Maccabees was saying. Because that's what the Most High God said. That's about the biggest thing that we can do. Everybody, that's what he said, just to eat.
Mm-hmm.
What you think so-called Edomite, their favorite thing to do is what? Eat and drink and be merry. That's what we like. That's what everybody like to do. Yeah. That's what the biggest thing. Guess what? Our wives and our husbands, and the husband complain, wife complain, because guess what? We can't go eat. We can't go have and enjoy each other. That's the biggest thing. Matter of fact, that's Ecclesiastes 8:15. Y'all gonna sidebar that too. Because that's the same thing I'm saying. That's what the scriptures say, man. That's the joy in life, that people can go eat, drink, and be merry, man. Go ahead.
Read Haggai chapter 1, verse 7 out.
Book of Haggai chapter 1, verse 7. Thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
Do what?
Consider your ways.
The Most High God is commanding us to consider our ways. Whether or not are we really laboring in this truth? You know, can you do more? Should you do more? These are questions that the Most High God posed to our people. Read on up.
Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house.
And do what?
And build the house.
Because it was their job to set the temple back up. Read on up.
And I will take pleasure in it.
And he would do what?
And I will take pleasure in it.
So when we put in work for the Most High God, man, he takes pleasure in that thing. Then he starts to bless us in ways that we didn't even see that was possible. Like that, he blessing this part of brothers and sisters' business to grow. He blessing that part of brothers and sisters' business to grow. I ain't even think about that. You know, read on up.
And I will be glorified, said the Lord.
And he will be glorified. Read on up.
You look for much.
But our people, we look for much. Read on.
And lo, it came to little.
We look for a lot. Oh, I'm going to get this much back, then you got that much back.
In the 4-bedroom, in a bathroom and a half.
Hey.
You got a no room.
Read on up.
When you brought it home, and when you brought it home, I did blow upon it.
Read verse 6 again.
Verse 9.
I mean verse 9. Read verse 9
You
again.
looked for much, and lo, it came to little.
And
when you brought it home, I did blow upon it.
Like, you think you saving some money, putting that thing on the table, the Most High God did. Poof, be gone.
Boy.
Gone. That thing hurt, boy. Like I said, you paying your rent. You got a nice check, but then once you start to pay all your bills, you ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
Payday used to be that good day, boy. That used to be, boy, payday is one of the worst days you can ever come to, boy. I just be holding the money. You know, they be right there. You know you owe us $17.50. I'm like, just give me 5 seconds. I'm going to give it to you.
No, but and even it,
just say I got something, but I got for 5 seconds. I'm good.
And even in that, guess what? You got all your bills paid. This next check gonna be good. I got all my bill paid. You ride down the street. Woo!
Yeah.
Now you got this big old fat ticket, man. It's good.
All that.
Talk about in the schools, huh? Oh man, that's that Malachi 2 and 2 though. They see now how you can get your blessing curse.
Yeah.
Hey, you get that on what that you get first of the year?
Income tax. Hey,
Like, well, I'm gonna do this. Man, you don't do nothing but pay your rent for a couple months.
Man,
And that's the thing about it, I done heard that so many times. I'm buying a car when I get my check. All right, then they do that the very next year. I'm gonna buy me a car when I get my check. Wait a minute, didn't you just buy a car with your last check? That's how that car done been got that year. 3 months later, soon as the first break down, I need a new car. And it's gonna keep. And you notice if you never look, I promise you, go to them same people. They do it constantly every year.
And even in that, just think on how, oh, you people think on how we get our income tax. How many brothers and sisters still got this?
Hey, for real.
You see how they were begging for the second stimulus check, and they just got the first one.
So how many people got that
Man,
second?
when you gonna
stimulus
send that?
check?
When are you gonna send that second one? Man, you just got one.
and even on touching with that, like we say, brothers and sisters, like we say, even with dealing with money and so forth, you do want to be careful with your financial status. You want to make sure that you're making good decisions, because even when you go through the scriptures, once you start to apply the scriptures long enough and understand prophecies in the Bible, you do want to be saving for a rainy day. Like, brothers and sisters just don't want to go through captivity just spending. I'm in the money. No. Like, come on, have some consideration.
Then when you need your lamp to turn on, and you ain't got no oil because you done spent all that. You done used all that up.
You know, and like we say, the congregation is here for brothers and sisters, but you just don't want to spend money carelessly. Because like we say, you also don't want to keep feeding the beast, just buying unnecessary stuff that you don't need. Like, come on, be considerate about these things and understand what you're doing. This world is coming to an end, man.
Yes.
Like, we got to keep that in mind, brothers and sisters, man. Like, this thing is coming to an end, man. This ain't, hey, stuff is starting to shut down. Things are going to be harder to get. You heard about the gas. You seeing what they doing? Yeah. Esau, hey, this is the Most High God working on the planet Earth, so we want brothers and sisters to be wise about these things, man.
I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all some stuff I was thinking about the other day. How the Most High God worked. Just think about the dude got killed, and once he got a knee on his neck and stuff like that, he said he can't breathe. You need to see how the Most High worked. He put coronavirus, make the whole world stop breathing. Think about that, man. That's how the Most High worked, man. You play with His. Think about how the Most High worked. He stopped the whole world from breathing. Because guess what? We cannot. Man, look, if we the children of Israel, man, they can't do us any kind of way. You think the Most High gonna stand back and let this stuff go on? Come on, man, stop playing.
And that's one thing he's finished, because that's when everybody keep hollering reparations. Did y'all know during the time what's the name of this guy? They came out with the Asian
Reparations.
The Asians wind up having their little. The dude went in and killed a few Asian people. So y'all know
At the salons, y'all.
they already gave them reparations for that. Yeah, they gave them over $50 million to the Asian.
The
people
Edomite,
already.
I'm pretty sure that I heard
Just
of.
about a month or two ago.
Yeah.
Yes, they already gave them. While everybody was running around looking at what all this other stuff, the case that was going on TV,
Yeah.
they was turning right around, going ahead and
Giving
giving
them
them reparations for that.
We on
While they out there marching on the street, dying and get shot and doing all that, getting ran, all this stuff, they already gave them theirs. That's how they do.
Read verse 9 again,
They made it take off. So.
No,
Haggai chapter 1 verse 9. Ye looked for much, and lo, it came too little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why, said the Lord of hosts?
he said, why? Why, Lord? Because guess what? You're not putting him first. Read on up.
Because of mine house that is waste.
And the Most High God is telling you, because my house is laid waste. You see the destruction of our people when we walk outside this building. And brothers and sisters don't want to come and do the work. Guess what? I'm not going to bless your thing that you want to prosper. So I'm going to blow upon that thing. I'm going to punch a little hole in it, so all the money that you think you got it's gonna fall right through that bag. Read on out.
And he run every man unto his own house.
And he run every man to his own house, meaning they concerned about only things that's going on in their house. They running home, not concerned about their nation, not concerned about doing the work of the Lord, man. Hey, brothers and sisters, got to stop that, man. That's not the mindset to be in. Yes, we want brothers and sisters to have businesses, but guess what? You don't want to put that business over the Lord's work, because like you keep saying, I know it's redundant. The Most High God is the reason why you got that business in the first place. It may not seem like that, but y'all got to understand that the Most High is what? He in control of everything. He put that spirit on you to, guess what, be able to do what you're doing right now.
I'm making poor and I'm making rich.
That's right.
I'm the one that's doing that.
That's exactly right, huh? Give me the book of Colossians chapter 3, verse 23.
Colossians 3 and 23. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord, and not unto men.
Read that again, huh?
And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily.
Do it what?
Do it heartily.
Do it what?
Do it heartily.
Read on, huh?
As to the Lord, and not unto men.
So the things, the work that brothers and sisters put in, guess what? Do it heartily, wholeheartedly to the Lord, not to men. Because like we say, I know we may hear sometime, nah, they got us doing that. That ain't the Lord's work. Sister, stop. Sister Betty, stop. Brother, stop. That is the Lord's work, man. Because guess what? There's certain things that do need to be done, man. Who else gonna say it if brothers and sisters, if brothers ain't saying it? It's just magically somebody gonna come up here and do it. We wish that was the case, but sometimes, guess what? That's why the Most High God set the order. Guess what? You will see brothers get in here and do it my damn self. Like literally, we bred for this thing, man. So it don't mind me not one bit, man, to come here and to do the work, man. Because I know that thing gonna get blessed. So guess what? It's a blessing to be able to come put in work for the Lord. I'm gonna do it heartily to the Most High God, man.
And see, that's the reason why you'll see brothers or sisters missing classes, or you'll see brothers and sisters missing. Man, you got time in your day. You got time in your day to read, or you got time. Okay, you made preparations to be home to watch this sitcom or watch this movie, but you can't make a preparation to. Okay, then I'm gonna go to class one day this week. One extra day this week, because they got classes every day. Make preparations and go one extra class. Brothers and sisters got to start making sure this is for you. This is for your salvation, and it's for, guess what, to make the Most High God proud, man. Like, I see my servants stepping up, because we are the servants of the Most High God, man. And we supposed to be doing it wholeheartedly for the Most High God.
That's right.
Go ahead, up.
Jump down to 1 Thessalonians 1 and 3. It said, we doing these things unto the Most High God, not men, not the men you seeing before you know. Do it to the Most High God, just like we doing it. We not doing it for men, women, my wife, my children. Hey, doing it for the Most High God.
1 Thessalonians 1 and 3. Remembering without ceasing your work of faith.
It says, remembering without ceasing your work of faith. Read on up.
And labor of love.
And labor of love, meaning we out there teaching the gospel to all people. Love is the keeping of God's commandments. We not ceasing from that work. We not ceasing from having faith. That guess what, by us doing this work, that guess what, we're going to be rewarded for these things. Read on up.
And patience of hope in our Lord Yahushua, in the sight of God and our Father.
It says in the sight of God and in our Father. It says and patience of hope of our Lord, because we do have to be patient in this thing with one another, dealing with one another. Certain brothers and sisters are not at the spiritual level that some brothers and sisters are at. So you always want to keep that in mind when you're dealing with your brothers and sisters. Give me this last precept. Give me Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 7.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 7. Blessed is the man that trusted in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is.
Read on, Doc.
For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when he cometh.
When what?
When he cometh.
When them thermonuclear fire come. Read on, Doc.
But her leaf shall be green.
Her leaf shall be green, meaning guess what? They're yielding much fruit. Guess what? Doing the work, laboring in this truth. Read on, Doc.
And shall not be careful in the year of drought.
And shall not. We ain't gonna care when this thing get droughted, because guess what? We know we filled with nutrients. We all filled up with the water. So guess what? We got our things, our nutrients on reserves. That's what brothers and sisters aspire to, man. Having so much, like we say, I don't put this, so much work in the truth that guess what? You could be on reserves, man. Read on up.
And shall not see when he cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought. Neither shall cease from yielding fruit.
That's what we want to get to the point of. We want to get to the point to where, guess what? We're not ceasing from yielding fruit, man. That's just something we leave there for brothers and sisters to think on, man. That's right. Well, we do, like I said, we want this work to overflow, man, with fruit, man. Like we said, we showing this for the Most High God, man. We want brothers and sisters to go out there and do the work, man. With that, we say shalom. Thank you for brothers and sisters that's watching. Help us push this truth. You know, that's help putting in work too by sharing the videos. You know, helping us push this truth. You never know who may be on your news feed, your Facebook feed. Guess what? Share this truth, man. Thank you for brothers and sisters that's donating to the cause. Like I say, keep donating. Reach out to us if you have any questions or any concerns. We always tell brothers and sisters to keep the law. We're going to reiterate a law that we brought out last week. Give me Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
Book of Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1. And if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing, and is a witness, whether he has seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity.
Like we say, if a brother or sister sees some things that's going on in the congregation, seeing brothers and sisters in sin and so forth, and not bringing these things forward, guess what? You're hindering brothers and sisters. Guess what? Hey, open rebuke is better than secret love, man. Brothers got to understand that. That's how we keep checks and balances on each other. Because it may be a brother or sister that's dealing in some secret sins that we may not know about, or a brother out there at Capt we don't know about. Most High God bring judgment on us. Guess what? We want brothers to be out there in order, especially when we're going out there to do the work of the Lord. So the Bible is telling you, not like how the world say snitches get stitches. No, the Bible ain't with that crap. If you see something going on and you don't say nothing, the Most High God gonna hold you accountable for that.